We've got a tremendous Q&A today. The main question is on butcher shops in the 18th century. Thanks for joining us today. Here's a great question from the earthen oven video. That was a video we did, 4 or 5 years ago. Always been very, very popular. We've done several earthen oven videos. Here's a question. Is there a structural or materials limit to how large you can build the oven? Example, a shared oven for a frontier community. Certainly there's a certain size range that after you get too big, the ovens, it's going to be either very, very difficult to dry properly, and it might not hold together very well. That being said, I've seen pretty large ones. There's several YouTube videos. One of them I think is from up in Canada, and they build one that's probably 4 or 5 feet wide and 6 or 7 feet deep on the outside. So you can build them fairly large. And they do have other kinds of or sister structures built in the Eastern Europe region, and they can get pretty large too, and they're mostly made with a clay structure like this and not with bricks. So it is possible to build them fairly large, but definitely it's going to get more difficult. Here's a question that came in on the potted beef episode. In using this recipe, would one be able to employ modern pressure canning methods to this potted meat, and would leaving out the extra topping butter ghee help? Undoubtedly, you could pressure can this type of meat product fairly easily. I don't do a lot of pressure canning of meat, so you'll have to look up the safety issues with that, but undoubtedly this would work very well. I'm not sure about the butter and the ghee part. You definitely wouldn't necessarily need to have it in a canned process, although you may still want to have it for other reasons, taste issues or whatever. There's probably some folks out there in the community, in the comment section, that can chime in on their experiences with this. So if you've got experience with pressure canning potted meat type products, go down in the comment section, tell us about it. Here's a question about musicians. I'm curious to know how common period authentic musicians are in living history communities. Are early music specialists hired to play events, or are there active musicians within these communities? There are no sort of, well, I can't say there are none, but there aren't very many like solid put together communities of say like reenactors. Usually it happens around particular events, and events definitely hire musicians at times, depending on the event and the place where you're at. Definitely early people who specialize in early music get hired by events to become part of the entertainment and to be part of the community. We have a couple of different interviews. They're from a couple of different years ago, but I'll put some links down in the comment section. I think we talked to Common Stock. They go to events, they do music and other things, as well as the folks who do the music for all our videos, Jim's Red Pants. So there are many groups, a lot of fun music, and there's more to grow. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, definitely look into that. It would be a lot of fun. We had a lot of good questions and a lot of comments that came in on the parched corn episode. That was really good. I want to thank everyone for chiming in on that one. Here's one. I've been watching how to puff rice videos recently, and apparently the heated sand method is commonly used for puffing rice in India. Interesting to see how it was used for parching corn. And there seems to be a lot of connections in the Orient, in other places for puffing rice. I think somebody mentioned cooking beans that way. That sounded really interesting, and I loved the comment that came in on I can't remember who that was. They were talking about being in the Andes and parching corn in the fire, where they threw the whole cob in, which makes a whole lot more sense than the way I did it. Threw the whole cob in, parched the corn on the cob, and then they would pop it off the ear after it was done and put it in a little bag and eat it on the road. Those kind of comments really help kind of fulfill the ideas here and tease them out. Thank you so much for everyone who chimed in on the heated sand method and the other parched corn ideas. Here's a question that came in on the last Q&A. Have you ever thought of doing a live stream of a cooking episode, either a Q&A or a cooking episode? I've seen them to be a great medium to interact with your subscribers, as well as an opportunity for subscribers to show support through donations at the same time. We did a live Q&A. How long ago was that? Three or 4 months ago, we did a live Q&A. Whew, that was crazy. That was a lot of fun. We can't really do a live cooking episode, although we'd like to try that because the internet connection out at the studio is horrible. It's just not good enough for a live stream. We might, though, go ahead and try another live Q&A sometime in the very near future. Thanks for the suggestion. Here's another one of those interesting sand questions or comments that came in on the parched corn one. I have to ask, were you able to get all the sand out, or was it like trying to eat something on the beach on a super windy day where sand blows, or the wind blows sand all over your food? And he follows this up with a second question. Where did they get lye in those days? It's not like you could go to the grocery store and buy food safe lye. I didn't do a lot of eating of the parched corn that we did in the sand. But actually, I think we would be able to get that out pretty easily. It is a very dry process, so the sand doesn't really want to stick to it unless there are oils. So I think with a good shake, you'll get almost all the sand out of it. You really do have to have a sieve, though, and kind of work at it. And I think especially after you ground that up, you wouldn't probably notice it if you got 1 or 2 grains of sand in there. So I haven't done a lot of experimenting with getting the sand out. But that's something, again, if you've got experience with that, go ahead and chime in. I think in the time period, they would have just dealt with a few grains of sand. It wouldn't have bothered them. Oh, and the lye. That lye comes from hardwood ashes. There's tons of trees in the time period. People were, burning wood. You would save those hardwood ashes. You would run water through them, and you would get lye water as a result from that. You'd, of course, strain out all the things that weren't soluble and the coals and all that good stuff. But when you end up with that, you have lye water. That's what you would have treated your corn in. And here's the main question. This one's from Caleb Leland, and it was from the last Q&A. As a lover of history and of cooking methods of the past, I enjoy your videos. Great job. I cut meat for a living, and I have tried to research the history of butchery, especially in our country's past. I know that farmers would have butchered their own meat, either raised or hunted, but what about people living in the towns or cities? Have you found any information about butcher shops in the 18th century and where folks would get their fresh meat? Definitely. There's certainly a lot of butcher shops going on in the 18th century. It's not necessarily easy to do a lot of research for that going on in, say, North America. But you certainly see references to that in Europe and in Great Britain. I'm sure with a bit more teasing out, we could find some specific references to that happening here in North America. But definitely in the towns, you're going to have butcher shops, people that specialize in cutting up meats. There's even some references. I remember reading about one of the famous surgeons in the 18th century was actually a female, and she got all her training in the butcher shops. So she trained cutting up animals, and then later on she changed her profession because she knew so much about anatomy and how to deal with that she became a surgeon. That is a really interesting story. And I want to point out, if you haven't gone down into the comment section of the parched corn video, there's this great pun contest going on down there. Thank you for all that you do down in the comment section. We have one of the best comment communities in the entire YouTube platform. I know it. I read it all the time. I try to read as many comments as I possibly can, but you guys are making it harder and harder for me to go through all the comments. I really want to thank the tremendous support we get making that comment section good. You do a tremendous job. We get some great questions. We get a lot of great answers to those questions so that I don't necessarily have to chime in and answer every single question. So everyone that answers those questions, thank you for that. And for having good questions and great comments that are helpful to other folks. I want to thank everyone for all that support you give us, whether you're just watching videos, whether you're commenting on them. When you share them, that's a special way that you can help us and help the channel. We also get tremendous support by the folks that support us on Patreon or go to our website and purchase products. Basically our new website is just out and open, and we're working on that, putting up new pictures and new content. If you haven't been to our website, head on over to the website, check that out. We're working on that continuously. Special announcement, on Friday and Saturday, we're going to be in the Rochester, New York area on the grounds of Genesee Country Village and Museum. We'll be doing a couple of workshops there for the ALFAM conference, but regular people can come by and stop. If you paid to get into the grounds there at Genesee Country Village, we're going to be building an earthen oven on Friday, and on Saturday, hopefully in the morning, we'll be baking in that oven. So if you are in the area and you want to stop by and say hi, you can come to the site and say hi to us while we're there. I'll make sure to put a link down in the description section to Genesee Country Village. Also, we'll be trying to announce this on Facebook. So if you are interested in kind of following along to see if there's anything special happening or any special announcements, make sure to check out the Facebook page. Hopefully you've just seen the pottery video that we had on the channel. We uploaded it yesterday afternoon. A wonderful video that we shot last fall down at Conner Prairie, the last time they did a pottery firing down there. And they are actually doing another firing this Saturday, the 10th. And if you are in that Fishers or Indianapolis area and you'd like to go see the firing, see exactly the same kind of thing that the video showed, except you can see it live and in person and talk to folks, make sure to head over to Conner Prairie on Saturday. It's bound to be a wonderful event. Thank you so much for everything you do, and thanks for watching today.